Of all the bombs dropped in Iran, the ones that fell in the capital at this compound may have been the most consequential.
We've heard from both the Israeli Prime Minister and the U.S. President that the Supreme Leader, Ali Khamenei, has been killed. The Iranians are denying that and saying that he's still the head of the regime.
This is a hospital. This is a mosque. And for decades, this has been the nerve center of a nation. It was the official residence and principal workplace of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, Iran's supreme leader. Now, it's gutted and flattened.
Ayatollah Ali Khamenei was killed in a joint military operation launched by the U.S. and Israel on Saturday.
Iran's formerly supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, is dead.
The operation to assassinate Iran's most powerful religious and political figure required a level of surveillance, tracking, and intelligence gathering that relatively few countries are capable of. I'll give you a sense of what that looks like.
Operation Epic Fury, one of the largest, most complex, most overwhelming military offensives the world has ever seen.
Operation Epic Fury is a joint U.S. Israeli strike on more than 1,000 targets across Iran.
The most lethal, most complex, and most precise aerial operation in history.
The goal, to cripple Iran's defenses, its anti-air capability, and the infrastructure of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. That's the primary branch of Iran's armed forces.
The U.S. military said it had destroyed the headquarters of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps.
But the highest profile target was the so-called House of Leadership in the heart of Tehran. This is the Ayatollah's home.
Ayatollah Ali Khamenei is more than just a symbol. He is in many ways the Iranian head of state. He is the source of the real power in Iran.
Every fundamental decision about the country's direction was his. He had sole ultimate authority on the economy, on military issues, on politics. He was the final arbiter.
But what U.S. and Israeli forces would have known long before planning to strike the leadership compound of the Ayatollah was that there was never any guarantee Ali Khamenei would be there. According to the New York Times, the timing of the strike was changed in the run-up because new intel would place Khamenei and the country's most senior defense officials at that site at a very specific time. In a post online, Trump divulged only that Khamenei was unable to avoid our intelligence and highly sophisticated tracking systems, which likely refers to at least two things: intel from people, covert agents, informants, local networks, but also from technology. Signals intelligence might involve intercepted communication, cell phones, radio traffic, that sort of thing. But there's also imagery intelligence, high-resolution satellite photos. There's no X-ray vision here. You can't see inside an underground bunker or even an above-ground building like you can in the movies. But by comparing images over time and establishing what are called patterns of life, when specific events happen, where do people go? What meetings take place? Which vehicles are where? Can we do more than just locate and monitor in real time what's happening on the ground, but actually even predict the specific places where specific people will be?
So it's probably a combination of human intelligence on the ground, potentially through Israeli assets, as well as signals intelligence, and the ability of the United States to use over the horizon, and in this case, local assets to target pretty much anywhere on the planet that it wants to hit.
So this attack doesn't take place in the middle of the night, as one might expect. It takes place mid-morning, when U.S. intelligence believes Iran's senior leadership will be here, and as U.S. Cyber Command begins to obscure the attack, electronic warfare.
The first movers were U.S. Cybercom and U.S. Spacecom, layering non-kinetic effects, disrupting and degrading and blinding Iran's ability to see, communicate, and respond.
So at around 6 a.m., Israeli fighter jets reportedly take off from their bases. They're armed with long-range, highly accurate munitions. Just over 2 hours after takeoff, so at around 9:40 a.m. Tehran time, which is an hour and a half ahead of Israel time, those long-range missiles hit their target.
Explosions could be heard in Tehran earlier. Smoke was seen billowing throughout the capital city there.
Many of them aimed at the compound that has been the residence for the supreme leader of Iran, Ali Khamenei.
It's also hard to keep accurate information on exactly where the strikes have hit. We do know that more than 24 provinces have been affected in the country.
Iranian officials say that one strike hit a girls' school in Iran, killing more than 100.
At first, there were only suspicions of just which links in the chain of command were destroyed. Those would give way to denials. Iran's foreign minister would tell NBC News, "As far as I know, the Ayatollah remains in good health." In the early hours, fake AI-generated images would hint at a different story. Now, to be clear, this isn't real. But Donald Trump himself would eventually break the news, posting online, "Khamenei, one of the most evil people in history, is dead." Iran itself would eventually confirm, declaring a 40-day period of mourning, and Iranian state TV would mourn the loss as well.
حضرت آیت الله العظما سید علی حسینی خامنه‌ای در راه سربلندی حرم جمهوری اسلامی ایران شهد گوارای شهادت را نوشیدند و به ملکوت اعلی پیوستند.
In the Western world, Iran has long been seen as a threat. One of the more extreme examples of that, this headline from the New York Post. It and other conservative voices have applauded the president's order to kill Iran's leader in his own country.
I want to thank President Trump for having the guts to do this.
President Trump's decision to launch this decisive action against Iran is the single most important decision of his presidency.
The mothership of terrorism is sinking. The captain is dead.
And to varying degrees, traditional allies of the United States are supporting it, even in Britain's case, lending help to attack Iranian missile sites.
The United States has requested permission to use British bases for that specific and limited defensive purpose. We have taken the decision to accept this request.
Canada supports the United States acting to prevent Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon and to prevent its regime from further threatening international peace and security.
But gauging reaction in Iran itself is more difficult because of how closed to the outside world it is. The most we can say is that there is mourning, because remember, many Iranians may hardly remember a time before Ali Khamenei. He's been ruling Iran for nearly 40 years. He was a key figure in the overthrow of the monarchy, the Iranian Revolution, and that revolution was also an Islamic revolution. For Shia Muslims, Khamenei is the highest order guardian of the country's religious identity and a fierce defender of its national integrity.
For many Shia Muslims who revere the supreme leader, who revered Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, his death is a tragedy, and they mourn it, just like they would for a major religious figure.
But in Iran, there is also celebration. Because this is, at the same time, a brutal autocratic regime. For many, the Ayatollah's death brings relief.
For many Iranians, he is fundamentally emblematic of everything that is wrong with the regime and the opposite of what kind of life that many of them want.
Protests against his rule, many thousands strong, were violently put down, many thousands killed. Morality laws are strict and strictly enforced. Dissidents not tolerated, women persecuted, the economy in shambles. Many of the people celebrating Khamenei's death see him as the architect of their repression.
The reactions are very complicated and mixed. There are some people who are glad he's gone. There are others who mourn his passing. It's quite one thing to have a domestic revolution that unseats a dictator that's unpopular. It's another thing to have that revolution brought to you courtesy of the United States, which has long been viewed as an enemy by many people in Iran over decades.
I am Iranian and American. Both of my countries are at war with one another. And what I fear the most here is that even in cases where the U.S. went into these wars with seemingly well-intentions and with a plan and with a policy process and with a strategy for the day after, it ended in grief. In this case, the U.S. has entered into this war based on wishful thinking, and it hasn't really thought through the consequences. So I'm very much afraid that this could end in grief.
The question now, though, is after the death of Iran's supreme leader, what or whom takes his place?
Turns out the regime who chanted death to America and death to Israel was gifted death from America and death from Israel. This is not a so-called regime change war, but the regime sure did change, and the world is better off for it.
Neither Trump's Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, nor even Donald Trump himself have offered any indication that there is any plan at all to install a new leader or otherwise replace the regime of Ali Khamenei. Instead, Trump has issued a threat.
I once again urge the Revolutionary Guard, the Iranian military, police, to lay down your arms and receive full immunity or face certain death. It will be certain death. Won't be pretty.
He's also issued a message direct to the people of Iran.
I call upon all Iranian patriots who yearn for freedom to seize this moment, to be brave, be bold, be heroic, and take back your country. America is with you.
What that means for the time being is that the joint American-Israeli attack on the Iranian regime continues. That, the president seems to suggest, is America's part. The rest, he says, to the citizens caught in the crossfire.
The rest will be up to you, but we'll be there to help. And God bless the United States of America.